Hi, I'm Tim Elkhorn, the radio play-by-play voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and you're watching Keeping It Real Sports.
We watching Keeping It Real Sports, and we gonna be on this. We gonna be on a lot of times. I love the platform. Check in, it's the new wave. Like, follow, subscribe, and do all that good stuff.
Come on. Told you I got you. Wanna talk about his game, he can talk about it. Tennis, match, golf, he can talk about it. Don't matter what it is, he can talk about it. Any sport, dude, he know about it. Save your boy bum, don't doubt it. If he tell you that it is what it is, the real sports guy in the Sandman. Talk show game in the bag, man. Rep, gon' have to throw the flag, man. Steve Taylor, Andy Sands. It's over, OVA. Game over, they don't play. From the fourth quarter to the ninth inning, NASCAR wheels keep spinning. To the 18th hole, he's still in control. Guy on the go. Coach never missing the play, cause he know the deal. This keeping it real. Sports. Come on. Keeping it real. Yeah. Let's go.
Well, indeed, I am fired up for this one. Another edition of Keeping It Real Sports, the podcast. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and by all means, make sure you share all of this great content, because we got so much content for you. It's me, your boy, the Real Sports Guy. I am Steve Taylor, and once again joined by the Sandman, the Sandman, and Andy. We got so much going on, man. Look, we got the NBA Finals tipped off. We got Stanley Cup that the puck drops tonight. We had to go in for the big dogs, man. We had to get the big dogs to break this down. So we got Coach Chris Varga, the coach from the St. Francis Knights. I'm telling you, all this dude do is win rings. He knows about this puck thing that's going on. And we talking about basketball. We had to go to get the former NBA player himself, who knows a little bit about the game, Kelvin Ransey. So, man, we got a big one going on. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing great, Steve. I'm really excited about today. I love it when we get to talk to Vargs. I love it when we get to talk to Kelvin. And, listen,
to talk hockey.
That's right. I mean, what's tonight? Tonight's like Christmas Eve for us. It's Stanley Cup final, game 1. So I can't wait. Let's get into it.
Oh, man. Hey, man, we've got all of that going on. But, you know, what we also have going on is quick hitters. Hot off the press. Let's do it. Hot off the press.
All right, partner, hot off the press. Well, there's no hotter story in professional sports right now than the broadcasting. What?
Woo!
Really? Yeah,
what?
Really. It's done. It's over with. You saw it coming. I saw it coming, especially after that Tom Brady incident. To me, that was the straw that broke the camel's back, Steve. Everybody wants to talk about the most recent incident with Kwame Brown and LeBron James. No. I think that was the way to push him over the top. But what Skip said to him was so disrespectful in that Tom Brady exchange that he had to leave.
Yeah, that was one of them, Andy. But I, for one, more so think it was the Damar Hamlin tweet and his refusal to let him address the reason why he moved away from the desk that particular day. So my question, I guess when you look at it, right now, Shannon's a free agent. Shannon took all of the money off the board. He even took his podcast, Club Shay Shay, away from Fox. Now, he's a free agent, and ESPN has dropped his hat in the ring big time. I've heard Pat McAfee, man, throw his hook out for him, and I've also heard Stephen A. Smith. Man, that is a big fish right there, man. But undisputed, no more.
No more. All right, so that's hot off the press. Let's get to some quick hitters.
Let's do it. Quick hitters.
All right, partner, let's start with the big one, the big news out of Detroit. Yeah, Detroit. They found their coach. Monty Williams gets a 6-year, $78.5 million contract. Those are the eyes of Jaden Ivey right now. Just lighten up because he's got a coach that's really going to be able to excel his game and take him to the next level. I think this is a great move for the Pistons. I'm a little scared, considering the fact that the Cavs are in the same division. But they're still a couple years away. I think I've got a couple years of success waiting in the wings. But great move for Detroit. Monty Williams is a hell of a coach. I thought it was a huge mistake for Phoenix to get rid of him. Once again, Kevin Durant gets another coach fired. But great signing for Detroit.
Well, what I have is Bob Myers stepping down. Think this is not a big deal, people? Oh, it is a huge deal. All he's done was hang chips. How many did he hang? Well, he's hung 4 of them things. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them in Golden State. A lot of people think he's heading to Phoenix. No, I'm here to tell you, watch out for Sacramento. This is Golden State Junior 2.0. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, that dynasty might have finally come to an end, for sure. All right, let's do some Oh, by the way.
Let's do it. Oh, by the way. Oh, by the way.
All right, partner. Oh, by the way, it's that time of year. It's the French Open. That red clay is causing some havoc over there in Roland Garros. Already a couple upsets out on the women's side. And you had the number 2 overall seed, Daniil Medvedev, go out in the men's side as well. That clay causing chaos as always.
Oh, by the way, Andy, we finally got it. July 29th. Yes, we have a date. It's in Las Vegas. Yes, we have a venue. Yes, we have the undisputed welterweight championship on the line. Earl Smith Jr. against Terrence Crawford. I can't wait.
Yeah, and I believe from what you told me, that's a 2-contract fight, right? Or 2-fight contract, I should say.
It's a 2-fight deal that Terrence Bud Crawford signed with PBC, which makes things really kind of interesting to me. But we'll talk about that as the fight draws closer. I tell you what we'll talk about now. Let's talk a little bit of Stanley Cup hockey. Let's go between the circles.
All right, who better to bring in for this one, right? I mean, we had to bring in Coach. And there's no other choice, no way we could pick somebody else. We have to bring in the Coach Chris Varga to join us and break this thing down. So, Steve, why don't you get him on in here?
Well, we have to definitely do that. But see, man, if we're going to bring him in, let's bring him in right and show you who we bringing in and why we bringing him in. Yeah, I hope he's getting a good look at that. Look at that, Vargas, because all he do is win. You see the rings and things that they talk about? Well, this dude can bring them out. And I've seen it up close and in person. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, help me welcome to Keeping It Real Sports, the coach, the man, the myth, the legend, Coach Chris Varga.
Hey, how's it going?
What's happening, Coach?
Oh, living the dream.
Hey, man, look, they can do better than that, man. They can do better than that, man. Turn that up. Give me some. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Turn that up. What's happening, Coach? How you doing?
Living the dream, you know. We haven't talked in a while, so it's good to talk to you again.
Well, let's get right into it. Andy, hey, man, why don't you kick us off?
All right, Coach, let's take a look at the comparison on these teams because it's really close. And these really are the two teams that should be there, especially when you look at the record. How about this? Only one fewer loss for Florida than Vegas. And keep in mind, Florida went down 3-1 in the first series against Boston. They have been on some kind of roll ever since, Coach. And this team is for real, and they have a legitimate chance to win the Stanley Cup and do it all from the 8th seed.
Right. You know, the special teams is the big thing in the Stanley Cup and the playoffs. You know, the edge goes to Florida. But what's great about this matchup is somebody's going to win the Stanley Cup for the first time for the franchise, and it's going to be an unbelievable thing.
When you look at this comparison, Coach, to me, the thing, if you're a Vegas fan, you have to be concerned about, look at that penalty kill percentage, only 62%. Like Steve's been saying all year, they're the best team 5-on-5, but they really struggle on the special teams. To me, that's going to be one of the big keys in this series.
Yeah, penalty kill's got to be up there. You got to be in the 70s to 80% to win the Stanley Cup. And you know what? Tonight's a good test to see if they get some penalties, if they can kill them off.
And the shots against per game for Florida, that's got to be concerned. Giving up almost 40, that's going to put a lot of pressure on your goaltender, Sergei Bobrovsky.
Yeah, and talking about Bobrovsky, Bob there, see if the rust is off the skates, and they haven't played in 2 weeks, so it's going to be a pretty interesting matchup there.
The one thing that you have to like, in particular for Vegas, is the stars that shone bright. You know, you've got that front line that I love of Eichel and Marchessault, who's been lighting the lamp at an alarming pace. But you've got the Stone guy, and you've got the other guys that step up. Carlson getting big-time goals when they need it. Coach, talk about, man, the production of that line for Vegas.
Well, seems like Eichel's doing a little wizardry, believe it or not. You know, it doesn't seem like he's not doing too much. He's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. He's getting out of traffic. He's getting out of trouble. He's getting shots. He's getting some assists. The thing about him is, believe it or not, he's never lost a playoff series, although he's been with Buffalo for a few years, and they never made the playoffs. But he's got the hot hand right now, and that's a line that you got to recognize that they can score at any moment, and they have. And once they get one, they get the foot on the gas, and they just keep going on and on and on. And that's tough to stop. So, defensively, Bob and the defense for Florida, they really got to step it up and block some shots.
Well, when you talk about that defense, one of the unsung heroes so far, Coach, has been John Forsling. We see him right here in the overlay. I mean, this guy has just come out of nowhere, and he's playing like Jarmelson was playing for Chicago. I mean, I think it's a great comparison. You've been hearing it on the broadcast. Is the defense of Florida equal to, better than, or not as good as the defense of Vegas?
Well, I think right now everybody's pretty much evened up. There's always that special player, that special guy that comes out of the woodwork, and when your third line is putting up points, making the production happen in a positive way, that's tough to beat, because everybody has two top lines in the Stanley Cup. I mean, that's why you're there. Everybody has a hot goaltender. Everybody has, 3 to 4 D that are playing every other shift. But it's the third line, and this guy comes out, and he's just finding the back of the net, and that's what they're there for, and that's what Claude Lemieux did for the Avalanche. There's so many guys that during the regular season they don't really have a whole lot of production, but once the playoffs start, they find that next gear, and he's found it. And I'm telling you, the top 2D for Florida better step up and play the first line and the third line. They're also going to lose this series.
Before we let you get out of here, man, talk about the old school hockey, in particular about Florida. Man, how really their whole fortunes has turned because of the way that they've just changed philosophy-wise.
Well, the biggest thing is Tkachuk is one of those instigators, but yet he backs it up for Florida. And Florida's putting the pressure. They're throwing two guys on the puck. They're playing old school hockey. They're banging. They're falling into the goalie when they get pushed. They're not scared to get in the fight or drop the gloves. This team really relies on strength. And they'll do anything. And as we can see, they took down the #1 team in regular season, Boston, and all they did was just beat them up. And it's the old school of hockey that it's kind of fun to watch. And I think a lot of us are really excited, that are in the sport of hockey, to actually see that come back into the game, because we tried so much. The NHL has tried so much to soften things, just rub each other, don't throw the gloves. They give you extra penalties, they kick you out of the game. Right now, the refs are letting them play, and the gloves are coming off, and that's the fun part about hockey.
All right, Coach, before we let you go, who do you have in the series and how many games?
I got I got to stick with what I have, and I have Vegas in 6. But Florida's tough. I'm going to tell you, that could go to Game 7.
Right. There you go, man. That is the man, the myth, the legend. It is the coach, Chris Varga. Coach, thank you for stopping by, man, talking pucks, man. And I'll be back at you real soon, man. Thanks, man, for stopping in.
Thank you. Have a good one. Thanks again.
There you go, man. There he is, man, the myth, the legend, Coach Chris Varga. Hey, look here, man. And the hits just keep on coming in because, man, now we've got to get to talking a little bit of basketball, man. Let's get into NBA update. Let's do it. Well,
all right, Steve, NBA Finals.
Yeah, we definitely got to do that, man. But hey, man, let's talk. Let's get that. Let's get up the graphic, man. But see, man, we got to bring in our guest, man. Once again, the man who knows a little bit about the NBA, the game of the NBA. So, man, without further ado, man, let's bring him in the same way we brought in our last guest. And hey, man, I know we got some applause somewhere, man. So, Mr. the Pastor, Kelvin Ransey, let's bring him in. There we go. I mean, I know we got an audience. Where's my audience at? Where's my crack staff? There we go. Get my crack staff going. Hey, man, we got to talk to our staff, man. Did you give them donuts this morning or what?
I think it was not my turn to bring the donuts, so that's on them for that one.
Well, welcome once again. Oh man, Pastor Ransey, coach. I mean, because see, I've been seeing you. Hey, look, darn that, you've been coaching it up throughout this whole hookup because I've been watching you. I've been watching your posts. I've been following you on social media. You've been coaching this thing up. You've been following this real close, man.
Yeah.
Yes,
sir.
So let's just jump right into it and talk about what we saw the other night in Game 1 in particular. So here it is, Game 1 of the finals, man. You interjected immediately and gave your thoughts. Give me your initial thoughts of Game 1, and were they what you kind of thought they would be?
Well, to be truthful, Steve, I was kind of shocked. I was really expecting Miami to come out with a little bit more and I was kind of expecting Denver to be a little rusty, but that certainly didn't play out the way I saw it. And my initial thought was, if Jimmy Butler don't be super aggressive and be the Jimmy Butler, playoff Butler, they're going to get swept.
Ooh, Steve Taylor, I believe I sent you a text message and said the same thing. If I'm not mistaken, I told Steve, if they don't make Jokic a scorer and they let him continue to pass the ball like that, they're getting swept.
They'll get swept, no doubt about it. And I'm really surprised. I was really surprised because I thought that them being in rhythm, playing already, and then Denver being not in rhythm, that this would be the perfect time to steal a game. But I was wrong.
Here's what I saw. My take of Game 1 was the pick and roll action. What they did, I'm talking about Denver. And see, Denver hunted Gabe Vincent. Now, for me, it was a continual play of Gabe Vincent and Murray, because Murray initially was getting his shot over, and Vincent is not tall enough to deter the shots. But what was happening in any action that they would involve Vincent in, right here you saw it was Gordon. Well, that was hitting to a dunk right there, you saw, and it happened repeatedly. Now, what we saw in the second half was Miami changed its philosophy and went more with the committee defense, allowing Bam to kind of patrol the lane and kind of be a rim protector. And it kind of worked to a degree because that's when they were able to get back in the game. But, man, just your thoughts on how they hunted the guards in particular of the Miami Heat.
Yeah. You're right on it, Steve, because Miami plays this switching defense, switch everybody on everybody. Brothers, that ain't going to work with Denver because you got some horses with Denver. Golden is a horse, and Porter Jr. is 6'10". You can't switch Gabe Vincent on those guys. It's going to be layup city. And that's what we saw in game one, especially that first half. One thing I'm pretty certain of, that Spoelstra is going to make some changes. I'm not sold out that this is over yet, because I think he's a great guy. Once he sees things, he knows how to switch things up. So I'm really interested to see this next game.
I as well. I mean, if you're a Miami Heat fan, here's reason to have a lot of confidence. The fact that Max Strus went 0 for 9 from the three-point line. I mean, Are you serious? 0 for 9? I mean, if he hits a couple of them. Right. The fact that as a team, you shot 2 free throws. That is an NBA Finals record. 2 free throws. They have to be more aggressive, and it starts with the Jimmy factor, Jimmy Butler.
Yes, sir. No doubt about it. And I tell you what, Jimmy understood it right away. That's the first statement he made after the thing. We've got to be more aggressive. And I'm gonna tell you something, Steve. If I was coaching, which I wish I was sometimes, if I was coaching, here's what I would do. And I don't know if anybody agree with this, but I would run Denver every play. Every play. I would just fast break them, run when you make it, run when you miss it, because Jokic is not fleet-footed. If you keep him running, involving him in picks, he's going to get tired. And you notice at the end of all these games, Denver has a tendency to get tired, and they don't play as efficiently as they do in the early. So I would just run them, pick them, run them, and see what happens, because he's only playing 7 guys. The
problem with that is the altitude.
That's a good point.
Kelvin, that's a real thing. I'm telling you firsthand. I did a broadcast against Air Force when I was at Wayne State about 10 or 12 years ago. And I needed 4 bottles of water in the first period alone to breathe. Okay? That is real. And that is why they're so successful at home. They take advantage of it because they're used to it. The other thing to me that has to happen for Miami is, where's Kevin Love? Why didn't we see Kevin Love in that first game?
Well,
I mean, you
can
got
I
a guy
get a little love
that has made the playoffs, not just the playoffs, the finals, every time he's gone to the playoffs. Okay, maybe, his shot isn't what it used to be, but he can rebound. He can play a little bit of defense when he needs to. His size is something you need against this lineup. I think they're going to have to put him back in the starting lineup, and Kelvin Martin's going to have to come off the bench again.
Yeah. Let me comment on your first statement about the altitude in Denver. As a one who's reporting, I understand. But let me tell you something, man. I had some of my best games in Denver with the altitude, because I don't know, once you're in shape, you can handle that altitude. I mean, I scored 30 points against Denver every time, and I ran like a deer and didn't get tired. I think you can still do that in Denver once you're in shape. So maybe it's late in the season, and maybe they might want to try that, but I would give it a try. That's just my thought. And certainly you are right about Kevin Love, because he can stretch the floor and bring Jokic out of that middle. If you let Jokic camp in the middle, you're not gonna win this series.
Here's what I want to ask you about is the decision of Malone, and people forget that Mike Malone coaches a little bit too. Well, his dad was the coach of the bad boy Pistons that won 2 championships. People, let me help you out on that. So he knows a little bit about coaching. But the fact that they said, "Hey, look, Bam Adebayo, you want to shoot? Go right ahead." Bam Adebayo shot 26 times to be exact. He got 25 shots, 26 points. But the fact that they are okay with Bam, man, just shoot anywhere in mid-range. Man, I mean, that's pretty genius in my eyes. Give me your thoughts.
It really is, Steve. That's a great point, because if you can get Bam to shoot 25 times, you're doing your job. But I will say this too, Steve, that the shots that Miami missed were good shots. They weren't poor shots. Caleb Martin had the same shots he had against Boston, and so did Strus. So I don't know if you want to continue to give those guys those clean looks. That's why I'm interested in seeing this next game, because if they start making those shots, you got a different scenario.
But to me, the other thing, Kelvin, in this series, as far as Jimmy Butler is concerned, is you have 2 possible defenders on Butler now, because you can go with the size of Gordon or you can go with the length of Porter. And to me, that's going to prevent Jimmy Butler from doing what he did against Boston, against Denver.
That's a great point. They do have different defenders, and I don't know if Jimmy Butler has the energy that he had, because remember now they played against Milwaukee, and he destroyed Milwaukee with those guys, length and everything. He just destroyed them. But I just don't know if he has that energy, because I really think he can score against anybody when he has that energy. But we'll see, because this next game, again, is going to be a very telltale game, and we're going to see if they're going to compete or get swept. This game is key to me.
Has the difference for Denver been Jamal Murray? Because it seems like they are a different team when he's healthy.
No doubt about it. Jamal Murray, man, I got to give him props, man. This guy is probably playing as well as any guard I've seen in a long time, because he can do it all. He can post up. He can shoot the 3. He's 6'4". He's strong, so he can do it all. And he's become a good defensive player, which makes him, in my opinion, one of the top 5 point guards in the league.
So before we let you get out of here, man, you know, I need you to look at the benches. Tell me, man, the difference if there's a guy that Miami can dial up to kind of help out, because it's kind of been by committee. Is there one guy, or you think it'll be the committee approach again?
I really see the committee, Steve, and let's keep in mind that Tyler Hero may be coming back, and if Tyler Hero can come back in any way, shape, or form, any way close to the way he can play, that's another dynamic to look at. But I also like the kid Highsmith. He plays with some spunk. He plays defense, and he's not afraid of the moment. That's another thing, Steve. I wonder, did Caleb and Strus get stage fright?
That's a good possibility.
But it's a possibility, because that stage is different than any other stage they've ever thought about. Millions of people watching, and so it could have been that. So that's why I say this next game, you all, is the game that's going to tell a lot.
I think there was a little bit of a hangover as well with having to come back and win Game 7 after what happened in Game 6. So I'm with you, Coach. I think they're going to see a different Miami team in Game 2.
I really do. I really do. And again, if they don't get the 2 free throws, sweet. If Jimmy Butler don't play aggressive, sweet.
All right, so who's going to win the series?
I believe that Denver's going to win it, but I could see it going 6 games. I really can. If Miami really comes out, this game is key to me. If they can win this one, I see it going 6. But if they don't win this, it could possibly be a sweep.
Well, there it is, man. Man, it's a joy having you, man. I love it, man. Hey, man, you know, we're going to sit down. I did catch up with Kenny Cunningham, man. We're going to, you know, I'm going to do an exclusive with him real soon. So I'll definitely keep you up on that. But man, hey, man, tell the missus, man, hey, man, you know, hey, we're thinking about her, man. God bless, man, and all of that good stuff. And, man, we'll catch up with you real soon.
Hey, my pleasure, man. I always enjoy being with you guys.
Thank you.
Kelvin.
There is the one and only Kevin, the fourth leading scorer still in Ohio State history. That's my man, Kelvin Ransey.
Thank you.
All right, man. Hey, man, we got one final thing. We got one last thing. What we got, man?
All right, Steve, I had to do it because this is a pretty big deal now. Whether you're a WWE fan or not, you have to acknowledge the tribal chief, okay? 1,007 days as of today as the undefeated heavyweight champion of the world. He got his own belt last night, okay, as a celebration for that. So there you go. So Roman Reigns continuing to do his thing, but the bloodline is no more.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that's another show. All right. It's been fun, but we got to run, man. 87 of them in the bag.
But until next time, we wish you love
and peace. Chuck and deuces.